When I first brought it, I played Heart Gold obsessively for weeks now. I love everything. The Pokemon, the people, and the storyline itself. My beloved team consisted of Quilliva, Quagsire, Umbreon, Noctowl, and Flaffy. I love them all easily and loving them all dearly, and thanks to the Pokewalker. Another source of amusement to me was the Pokegear. I love that people you had to meet, you can ring him up for some requested rematch battles or just rattle on about nothing. And my favorite of the regular cause was, of course, youngster Joey.
Hey, you knew my super cool Rattata? My Rattata was different than regular Rattatas. It's like my Rattata was the top percentage of all Rattatas, you know what I'm saying?
Like he always said. One day he called me for a battle. Well, this was new. He never asked me for a rematch before, as I remember that he only has his Rattata with him. Suspecting that his Rattata had maybe grown to level 30s or level ups a few levels. I traveled back to Route 30 where Joey stood.
I've been waiting.
He said.
Wait until I see how much Rattata has changed.
The battle music started and the screen split. And to my surprise, his Rattata evolved into Eradicate. I couldn't put my finger on it, but there's something different about its claws. They were yellowish and had a brick pattern, like they belonged to another Pokemon. Probably Sandslash or Sandshrew? But at the time, I couldn't give him much thought. As I expected, Joey's Raticate had grown to level 30, so I sent out Umbreon. Raticate attacked first and used Dig. That's strange, I didn't think Raticate can learn Dig. Anyways, it was no match for my Umbreon, who creamed with Shadow Ball, which was not very effective, but I use other moves that can make it feel like it's effective. But to my dismay, I can't even tell the differences because Raticate is supposed to be a normal type, but why isn't it a ground type? It's hard to tell, but I creamed it with Shadow Ball. Felt like it had already been defeated. Raticate fell with a scramble cry that was different than how I remember it. But again, I didn't think much of it. The screen returned to the overworld.
Alright.
Joey's text said.
But I won't lose you again. Rattata will be stronger when next time we meet.
Then he gave me an iron. I giggle a bit. Joey called his his Raticate Rattata. I mean, it was funny, but who knew? Because you can tell the differences about the name and whatnot. Because you think it was funny. Anyways, after I have basically beaten the last gym badge, which is Claire, I got a new team on my hand, which was Sandslash. I traded with Quagsire with Shiny Gyarados that I caught at Lake of Rage. But to my dismay, I never even think of anything else what I can do for my team. Because sometimes my team is basically feel like they have their own percentage of what they can do to help out the others. Unfortunately, it ain't easy to trade in my Quagsire with Shiny Gyarados, which is my first time I ever catch a Shiny Gyarados. So, I was about to go to the Elite Four, but then I got a call from Joey again, and he said he wants to have another Pokemon battle. I wouldn't mind if I could get some EXPs for him. So I traveled back to Route 30, where Joey stood. When the battle music started, and this time, I knew something was very wrong. Raticate was sporting an orange flaming tail like out of a Rapidash, In addition, the area around its new tail was a purplish red color, like it was bruised or bleeding. I could see the grotesque stitches holding the tail on. What the hell did Joey done to it? It's like he's sewn a Rabidash's tail onto Eradicate. I feel completely ill for a second. I mean, I can't believe... How could a kid like Joey could really do that? I mean, you're not supposed to sue other Pokemon's body parts just for something. That's just horrifying. Anyways, I used Shiny Gyarados to take it down with Water Pulse, but unfortunately, though, Eradicate learned to move first. This time, I use the move Flamethrower, but it kind of a little bit of hit effect on Shiny Gyarados. But unfortunately, though, it did not work well. But the fact is, I used Water Pulse on it. It was super effective, and I have concerned thoughts in my head. Is it Eradicate like a fire type now? That makes no sense, because Eradicate is supposed to be a normal type, not a grounded fire type. That makes no sense. I would have sent out Sandslash for this, but unfortunately, it says
Sandslash is unable to battle.
That's odd. I don't understand why this Sandslash can't even send out to battle. Probably because it's too frightened to move. Or something. Anyways, Eradicate let out a scrambled noise like it sounded like it's in pain.
Eradicate was hurt.
The text read. Eradicate's health went down by a quarter. Flamethrower did affect the user. I was so confused until I realized that Eradicate was not used to using fire attacks. And its body was being damaged by a foreign attack move. I didn't want to hurt Eradicate, but I had to, so I sent out... Actually, I did send out Shiny Gyarados and use Surf. It was super effective, then Eradicate fainted. When we returned to the overworld, Joey said,
And yet another loss. No doubt about it, you're tough. Being beaten was often actually feels good about it. But still, I wish Rattata was stronger.
It's Eradicate, Joey. Stop calling it that and stop hurting it. But he didn't listen to me. Instead, he just gave me an iron. I knew for a fact that part of me makes me feel like I don't understand why Joey had done something like this. I mean, he's just a kid. He's not supposed to do this. Anyways, I promised myself I wouldn't ever have to battle Joey again. So, after I'd been in League 4, I went to Kanto Region to visit the Kanto Region, which I haven't done that since Silver. I never visit Kanto Region in Pokemon Silver because I don't even know how I can access it to. But unfortunately, though, I basically found a way. So that explains why I brought Heart Gold in the first place. So that's where I can access the Kanto Region. So after a few steps of walking into Vermilion City, and that's where I got another call from youngster Joey again. I knew for a fact he wants another rematch. But to my dismay, I don't want to answer the call, so I kind of ignore it. So when I walk around even further, but unfortunately though, he called again, and then this time I pick up the phone and I hear Eradicate's scrambled noise. And then those words of what Joey said to me made me feel like my blood went down to cold. Where are you going? Route 30 is the other way. I would have dropped my DS, but I didn't. Instead, I just leave it there on the table. I'm kind of freaking shocked. I don't know what the hell is going on with him. I mean, I like that kid. I mean, he's not bad of a trainer. I understand what he's been going through. I know he helped Ethan in the first place. But why did Joey do that to his Raticate? That makes no sense. I shook the feeling off, so I know for a fact that he's gonna call me again. Why I haven't go to his ruined area where I can have a rematch with him. If I didn't pick up the phone. So, with enough hesitate, I decided to go travel back to Route 30 and have a rematch with him. I knew, to my dismay, I would never forget that insight ever again. Because part of me makes me feel like my body is starting to feel aching with all of a sudden pixelated Raticate had become. But the one I battled with Raticate will never forget out of my mind. The Raticate itself had a pair of white-blue wings attached to its sides, as well as a Rabadash's tail. But I never know where the blue and white wings are from. I think they might be either from Wingull or Pelipper. Yeah, it is from the Pelipper. The area around where the wings were statched on a horrible, messy, and bloody body of Raticate. I can't put my eyes on it. My eyes are glued on it as if it's like it's absorbing my eye sockets like completely. Raticate went first and used Water Pulse. It hardly harmed my freaking Noctowl. But the words
Raticate was hurt.
flashed across the screen and took a third of its health. So I took the rest of it with, I say, either Hypnosis or Peck. Sometimes I use like Wing Attack or Air Slash of it. But most times I think I'd rather prefer using Air Slash at first, but it don't matter. I call it back two more times and during that month. And each time the attacks, it used Electric Shock and Razor Leaf. That makes no sense. If Raticate was a water type, then I'm pretty sure it's gonna have water moves, not electric types or grass types. That makes no sense. Electric types is supposed to be for electric Pokemons, not Raticate. And Razor Leaf too? I mean, it's supposed to be for grass types. We'll take care more of its health until I knew the next time we thought I wouldn't have the attack at all when he did call me. But I knew I couldn't escape, so I just went along with it. But now I know Raticate was so gory that and full of stitches that I could barely even recognize it at all. Oh my god. I actually felt sick, like completely horribly sick. I mean, why the hell did Joey would do something like that to his Raticate? My god. It's horrible. Raticate was now wearing X sash around its waist, and its eyes were blue and a purplish hue around it and around them. I had no idea what kind of a new Pokemon that had died into this figurine of Raticate itself. But I decided it doesn't matter, so Raticate can learn Ice Beam. But that makes no sense. Raticate, I mean, like I say, they to Thunder Shock and Razor Leaf, but Ice Beam? That's an ice Pokemon's move. My goodness. This did a surprising amount of damage to my Ampharos, so as I suspected, the damage Raticate had depleted and took its health bar completely. It said the words Raticate has fainted, and now the text itself says
Raticate has died.
Instead. Well, that's pretty strange. Pokemons can't die in the games like this. It just not makes sense. Well, I've seen some in anime, but not in the actual game itself. Joey himself says something too.
Rattata? What's wrong, buddy?
I tried talking to him, but he didn't answer. I knew that horrible sight could never get out of my eyes. I actually felt so terrified that I could barely even remember what Joey was before. Anyways, I decided to go back to Kanto region and do some gym challenge there. You know, like how Ethan, Pokemon trainer, does. He said he wants to collect 16 badges. Which it was kind of pretty good challenging, but it's gonna take a while for him to do that. Anyways, I was about to enter Mount Silver to face off Red, the protagonist Pokemon trainer of all time in Pokemon Red and Blue. But then I got another call from Joey. I mean, what does he want me calling this time? I mean, his Raticate died already. I mean, like, what does he wants to do now? I mean, I don't know. I decided to go back to Route 30 and talk to Joey himself. So when I got there, to my surprise, Joey's sprite looks completely different, like the size of a Raticate. And then when I confront him, he says,
I've been desperate to take my whole life being a great percentage of the Pokemon trainer. I took my desperate needs to do what's best for my Raticate. Are you ready for a rematch?
And then by the time the screen flickered and it didn't go to the battle area scene, to my dismay, Joey himself is not what I think he was before. Joey, or what has left of him, stood in the place where his Raticate was stood. His hair was matted with blood and his face is horribly disfigured by the new buck teeth, furry body, and mangled claws. The stitches holding his body together were badly sewed and messy. And every time his nose twitched, a fresh drip of blood fell from the tip of his snout. Joey had sewn the parts that he had hooked off Raticate into himself. The image was so horrifying and horrible, I could barely look at him. Joey used Hyper Fang, an attack hit on my Ampharos, but it did a shit ton of damage of Joey's health. It went down 1/5. It was my turn to attack and I used Thunder. Hope I got lucky on this one on my first try. However, the text box appeared on the screen. It says,
Ampharos is too scared to move.
I cursed. Joey attacked again, and this time he used Crunch. This did a lot of damage I ever did. And then it took a half of Ampharos' health and then gone now.
Ampharos has fainted.
Joey's health depleted a little more than that. So it was my turn to send out. I was thinking about sending out a ghost type, so I sent out Haunter to do some attacking. Since ghost types can have no effect on normal types move or fighting types. So I sent a Hunter. Joey, this time, he tried to use the move Double Edge. Double Edge is on hand here is basically a hit move. Like a twice the amount of damage, it can really damage on the user's HP when it's down. Or if it's on red HP, then I'm pretty sure you'll be badly damaged. But to my dismay, Joey took his life into disintegrated. He on hand here, he thought of an idea to try to use Double Edge on Hunter, but it missed. Like you know when you use a move High Jump Kick, and then when a Pokemon misses, and then it took its damage out completely. That's how it happened to Joey. And our text appeared. It says,
Joey has died.
I never felt so a shame on him. I understand that Joey's a kid, but he never done something to his Raticate, but it was so horrible. I can barely even noticing him. I feel sorry for him. You see, back then, when I played Pokemon Silver, I never even get his phone number because I just kind of skip on him. Because I know for a fact that he's going to have his level 4 Rattata, like, all the time. So I get, like, other trainers' phone numbers instead. So I thought I would maybe do best if I could do it in Heart Gold. My players sent back to the overworld. Joey's Mango Sprite was in front of me. Raticate features still visible, but I realized that I was silently crying. My tears splattering and onto the touch and in a state of a shock. I stood there, not moving, for like 5 minutes. I was unable to draw the content thought of in mind. Eventually, when I brought my Ampharos to the Pokemon Center, but when the nurse gave him back, she said,
"Whatever happened to this Pokemon, don't let it happen again."
I understand that. To my dismay, I understand what Joey did to Ampharos. Terrified shock attack. Just by using Crunch on Ampharos, it did damage injuries on Ampharos so badly. I know Ampharos was my favorite Pokemon ever since I was like either 16. I think I would say 16. But it was true. I was always been a fan of Ampharos since then. But to my dismay, from now on, Ampharos could never fight Eradicates again. He would always be too frightened to move. I don't know why I headed back to where Joey once stood. I just felt like I had to do it. But when I arrived, Joey was nowhere to be seen. In his place was an item. When I picked it up, it was iron. Always iron. I knew these bottles of it like cadmium and iron and other stuff like that, but I know that you could use this for Pokemon, but I couldn't trade off for the money. So I understand how I feel for Joey, but I am so sorry. But look, I knew for a fact that Ampharos can be a little bit terrified against these Raticates, but that's why I had to send him out against, if I can use Jolteon or Typhlosion. It don't matter, I can use Quagsire of it. So, it ain't easy to have Quagsire in a team. But what happened to Quagsire is really hard to tell the story about what the Feraligatr did to Quagsire.